Pin by Trevor Boelter. A 120-year-old heat record broke on the day David forgot his PIN number. This is new, he thought. His mind was coming up blank. The PIN begins with 9, John Lennon's favorite number, but the rest? Going on autopilot, he typed 950153. The machine whirred to life and then offered a response. PIN not recognized. The air tasted like a 9-volt battery. It lingered like a dirty penny. David inserted the card again. A churn, a beep, and that blank black square. PIN not recognized. If David's brain was made of water, you could skip a rock across it. It's 9 and nothing. Nothing more than that. Number 9. Oh, shit, David thought. I'm entering my PIN backward. He hit canceled and reinserted the card. There was a line forming. A woman waiting behind him sighed. She shuffled in her gold flats. "It's hot, sir," she said to his sweating back. His heart was beating faster. The black square appeared again. Enter PIN. 15395 whir churn nothing. Is it broken? I think it might be, David said as he took his card and tucked it back into his wallet. Walking across the grocery store parking lot, David felt a sliver of fear prick him on the back of the neck. It spread around his shoulders, bunched the muscles into a tight fist-like grip, and squeezed. Why couldn't he remember his ATM number? It was just 6 digits. But that black square, that blank stare, his fingers that wouldn't move on their own. What was his goddamn PIN number? Using a credit card, David bought a bottle of wine, and while standing in line, the numbers tumbled in his head. You did it all wrong. It's backward. Why is this happening to me? David took the bottle and walked back through the oppressive blanket of heat. Later, he was welcomed in by the cool push of the banks of overworked AC. Does this happen a lot? He asked. The banker laughed, revealing orange braces. You wouldn't believe. She turned the screen toward him and handed him the keyboard. Please enter your new number. David typed in his number. Sticking with the Beatles, it was the date that John met Paul. 070657. He was quiet during dinner. His wife was busy on her phone. The firm was burning midnight oil until Labor Day. She'd probably be on email well past bedtime, but that didn't matter. David didn't feel like talking. The heat was affecting them all. His 3-year-old daughter grasped a fistful of green beans. I love you, Daddy, she said. David didn't respond. The uneasiness of forgetting his PIN still gripped him. How could he forget just 6 numbers? Are you listening to me? His wife had said. Sorry, David replied, and he cut the pork he didn't want to eat. I'll be working late until the end of the week. David spooned green beans into his mouth hole to chew. I'll need you to get her to school. Roger says we need to get in earlier if we expect to have all the numbers. Sure, Ma. David stopped. He coughed. Was he choking? Mo, he said again. Mo. And he shut his mouth. That feeling again. That black square. The hands hovering over the keyboard. The number. But this time it wasn't a number. It was his wife's name. Are you okay? His wife gaped at him. Okay, he squeaked. Dear God, no. What was her name? Mavis? Marcy? Mary? Mona? Mindy? Mandy? Amanda? Brenda? Christina? Ma? You don't look okay. She was getting a bit closer to the edge. Dear Christ, it felt like it was boiling in the kitchen. Maybe you should take a cold shower. That always helps in the heat. David peeled off his clothes in the bathroom. The names came through his brain faster and faster. Deborah, Denise, Heather, Harriet, Justine, Jennifer, Kendra, Kelsey, Brittany, Madonna, Lady Gaga, Jacqueline Bissett. David was erupting. He was splitting in two. What was her goddamn name? What was the name of that little girl? Oh, God. Not that. Oh, no. David bunched a towel into his mouth and screamed as the water rushed into the bathtub. It was getting worse. Did they have a dog? Did he have a brother? Everything was slipping away. When David was 6, a stroke took his Aunt Betty's left side. Her mouth hung in a lopsided frown. Her left eye drooped as if she'd been used as a punching bag. But the worst part was how she walked. After he was dressed, he could hear his wife in the other room reading their daughter. Oh, Jesus, was it their son? A bedtime story. He went into the living room, but as soon as he sat, he was up again, pacing. How could he explain to his wife of 7 years that he didn't know her name? Details flooded him. Maroon menus and tablecloths decorated with tiny flowers. She had asked for black napkins because the white left little bits of fabric on her pants. He had ordered a Sam Adams and regretted it because it made him burp. The old couple nearby looked at him with a queer unease. He's blowing it, they whispered to each other, but he hadn't. He did not blow it. He endeared himself to her. And he could hear his wife singing to her or him now. And soon she would come into the living room and tell him that she had to answer emails in the back room. He had to get out of here. David leapt up, heading to the room. He opened the door. The little girl looked up at him. "Hi, Daddy." He was bleeding from rotten stumps and skewered insides. His entrails had been pulled out and devoured by dogs. "I'm going out," he said. His wife looked up at him, and again, there it was, that look. It said, "I am perplexed." "Where?" she asked. To the 7-Eleven. I want a Slurpee." Okay. He should have told his wife that he was going to look for Jesus and leftover oil slicks in the street. It would have gone over the same. "Bring me back a small one, half Coke, half cherry," she asked. When he opened the door, the air assaulted his skin with its greasy snare. He could walk to the 7-Eleven, go fast and try to get those cobwebs out. The green and orange sign beckoned him. The glow offered relief. "Come get a Slurpee," it said. But as soon as he was through the door, he couldn't remember what he was doing there in the first place. He touched his wallet and keys, but the lingering sensation of having just been in the shower, and now to be in all places a 7-Eleven, was overwhelming. "Can I help you?" "Where's the ATM?" 914-555? 921645? The numbers ran around David's brain. They escaped from his ears, nose, and throat. The number 9 was poured out his left eye. He held it in place. The ATM machine was at the back of the store. Gray, boxy, bleak. 941569? 922168. Maggie, Misha, Marla, Monica, Mary, Ellen, Sue. 942445. Stephanie, Shoshana, Stacy, Sandy, Samantha. 900311. David looked at the flashing colors from the refrigerated doors. Bottles of water, beer, soda, Gatorade, Powerade, vitamin water, hoagies, and hard-boiled eggs all glimmered, all turned into shaking numbers. David held his ATM card up as if it were a samurai sword. He swiped down. Enter PIN. David's fingers hovered over the keypad while the blank feeling again invaded his mind, but his hand decided it had had enough. 9, 5, 3, 1, 5, 0. That was it. That was the number. That was his wife. It was his daughter, his beautiful Molly, and his little Simone. He was back. PIN not recognized. 953150, David yelled. But the numbers were on him now. A 5 and a 9 squeezing him. Numbers surrounded him. 3s with red, boring eyes, one on top of the other. 5s slick and erect. A 4 crouched in the corner. And the 7 stood in front of him, 6 feet tall, its glowing laser pointed right at David's chest. I remember, David shouted at the 7. 953150. He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe he won. As the boots of the 7 walked slowly over to him, David remembered everything. He especially remembered how all the numbers had always been the same. 7, the same as 9. Today, the same as yesterday, which was the same as the day he met beautiful Marnie, which was the same as the day that little Sandy was born, which was the same as the day that John met Paul, which was the same as today, the day the number 7's laser carved a 0 into his chest, sending David happily on his way, his memory sharper than it had ever been in his life. Trevor Boelter is a writer living in Los Angeles. He has been published in Chilling Ghost Stories, Kaaterskill Basin Literary Journal, The Alter Collective, Crimson Streets, and the Indiana Crime Review. His short story, The Elixir, will be featured in the inaugural issue of Peachfish Magazine. The music in this story is by the artist Sealand. You can find more of his work, including his new album, Dark Days, at sealand.bandcamp.com.